You're live.
Hey guys, it's Bree here at Triage. Thank you guys so much for coming on here. We are super excited about this webinar that we have with TJ from the PT Compact license. He is all knowing when it comes to that PT Compact license. So basically we're just gonna let him kind of start his deal. We're gonna have time for questions at the end. So go ahead and just type whatever you want as far as questions go, and then we'll answer those either as we go if they're super easy, or if they are something that we need TJ to jump in on, then he can do that. Go ahead and share this, like it, post it on your own wall, do whatever you want with it. Let's get this information out there. Again, we are Triage, and TJ, if you want to go ahead and share your screen, we can start the webinar.
Okay, here I go. All right, I will put the slideshow as my computer works. All right. Well, first, let me thank Triage Healthcare Staffing, Bree, and the whole team over there for putting this together. It's a great opportunity for us to share information about the Compact. We understand that the PT Compact is new, and the process is going to be a new concept to many people out there, whether they've been in physical therapy for 30 years, or they've been in it for just the last month or few days. Because this is a whole new thing that we're getting together for the benefit of the physical therapists and physical therapist assistants out there. So today, what I'm going to cover is a brief overview of the Compact itself, so you get a sense of what the Compact is, how it works, and then you'll get a quick overview of our website, ptcompact.org. If you haven't been there already, I'll show you some of the features and things that are on it, some of the resources that will help you get more information that I'm just not going to have enough time to cover everything today, but those several resources available there that are updated on a regular basis that I recommend people look at. So we'll cover that quickly. And then the big part of it and the goal of today is to be able to do an interface walkthrough with you. So I will provide an actual walkthrough of each step in order to get a Compact privilege, what you have to do, what you have to be prepared beforehand in order to get a Compact privilege. And then as Bree mentioned, we'll have a Q&A at the end where her team will field some questions if you have them on, if you have any, you can put them on the Facebook chat there, and then she can field those questions, and then I'll be happy to answer them at the end, as well as providing my information if you want to follow up directly with me. So the first part is what, why, where, and how. Just as a quick overview again, the PT Compact is essentially an alternative way to get a license to practice in a remote state for PTs and PTAs. We are an independent commission made up of member states, so we are, while supported and helped, we were created through work by the APTA and the FSBPT. We are an independent organization with the Physical Therapy Licensure Compact Commission. We are constituted of all the member states. So right now we have 21 member states. Not all of them are issuing compact privileges, and I'll explain more about that in a little bit. But the reason we came together was a result of many years of discussion between the FSBPT, APTA, and other PTs and PTAs out in the field. And what they were trying to ultimately determine, is that the compact was the best way to provide easier and more efficient way for PTs and PTAs to practice in remote states, which improves the access and choice for patients, which is what we all want. And then it also, by the way we are actually administering it, provides additional enhancements to public safety through increased information sharing between the states. But a lot of good benefits. There were all other alternatives, the national licensure, et cetera. But really the compact seemed to be the best way, and other healthcare professions were already moving that way, and more are even moving that way now. Nursing being a big one that you may be aware of, and how they came up with a compact many years ago and are still growing that compact at the time. So much of what we've done is based on what the nursing compact is, but you'll see it's a little bit different in kind of how we execute it. And so as I mentioned, 21 states have now enacted legislation to join the compact. So those are member states. However, only 5 of those states are actually issuing compact privileges. And in a second, I'll show you those states and I'll explain what they're doing. And the how is what I'll be covering at the end today. We'll go over kind of the exact process you need to be able to verify your eligibility, and then actually purchase a compact privilege for the remote states that you're interested in practicing in. So in terms of the states that are actually active, as of today, there are 5 states: Oregon, North Dakota, Missouri, Tennessee, and Mississippi. Those are the 5 states that are actually issuing and accepting compact privileges. It's important to note that even though a state has joined the compact and they've enacted legislation, it still takes them several months in order to actually be ready to start issuing compact privileges. Most of those states are trying to pass or adopt some kind of new rules that are required by the compact legislation. Some have other processes that they need to actually get in place, whether it be for continuing education or for FBI criminal background check history, which is the new requirements added to get a license in that state. But essentially, it's a little bit more of a process than just to enact the legislation. But obviously, that's a big part of it. And so, I would note here that one of the big differences we have with our compact is that we are not a multi-state license. So if you've heard and familiar with the nursing compact, where you just get one license and now I can practice in any of the compact member states for nurses, that's not how we operate. We operate where you have to get a compact privilege for each state that you want to actually work in. The difference being there is that then you can only actually get a compact privilege in those states that are active. For those that are living in one of the 5 active states right now, they can actually get a compact privilege in one of the other 4 states. But they couldn't get it, for example, in Texas, because Texas is not ready to actively issue or issue or accept compact privileges. And so you'll have to wait until Texas goes live in order to get a compact privilege Texas, or for any PTs or PTAs with their home state of Texas, we'll have to wait until they go live in order to start getting compact privileges in other states. It is, I know a frustration for some people out there, but you got to realize we're in early days here. We're still really only about 2 years in earnest, and even passing legislation and getting all these things up and running. So once they are up and running, though, things should continue on smoothly, and we'll gain new states as we go along, and you'll be able to get more compact privileges that way. But please understand that it's going to take a little bit of time to get everybody fully ramped up, and we're working as hard as we can to get them ready. So the new states that will be coming that are not currently issuing or accepting compact privileges are these 16 here. Now, the biggest question I usually get is, so when's my state going to be ready? Unfortunately, I cannot provide that an answer for any of those states at the moment right now. As soon as any state's ready, though, I promise we are trying to get them up and running within a week. But they have to have all their rules passed. They have those processes in place. They have to be sharing data. There's several different steps they've got to take care of. And for that reason, it's impossible to really say, oh, in 2 months they're going to be ready, or after they pass legislation, it'll be exactly 20 days until they're ready to go. It just depends on what state of that, what the state is doing at the moment in order to issue licenses, and if they have to make any changes to that. It'll depend on what their process is in order to adopt new rules, and some have long, lengthy processes that may take 6 months. And you just can't really change that. And so as soon as we know states are actually ready to go live, we're making an announcement usually the week before through our email list, which you can sign up for on the resources and tools page of our website, which I'll point out a little bit. And we're trying to post that on our website as well. And I also show you that where we will post the updated map, where you can see who's actually ready to issue and accept compact privileges. That is updated the same day that goes live. So if you look on that page and you see that state's not dark blue yet, they're not ready yet. But as soon as they are, we will be putting it there. And as I said, we want to get them going as soon as we can. So that's our goal. Again, these are the states that we know are coming. I can tell you that there are several other states in 2019 that we've talked with that are going to be introducing compact language, or at least have plans to do that. Once we have confirmation that those states will be introducing bills, we will be adding that to our map on the website as well, and putting out announcements in our email distribution list, so that people will know that their state is working to get compact legislation enacted. And again, that will, once enacted, will still take them several months to go live. But that is our goal, to eventually get all jurisdictions to actually join the compact, so that this will be easier and more efficient to get compact privileges to work and practice physical therapy in other states. So that's the overview of the compact itself. Again, I'll be happy to answer questions at the end if you have questions about how the compact came together or who's in it, etc. And as well as you'll be able to look online here. And so I'm going to do a quick overview of ptcompact.org again, so you can see what we have available on the site. So if you go to ptcompact.org, this is what you're going to see today. Again, lower left-hand corner, you can see it says Purchase Now. That's where you'll go to kind of get your compact privileges, and we'll walk you through that process in a little bit. But the other resources that are available are up at the upper right-hand corner of the page here. See about the PTC Commission, compact map, resources and tools, and contact us. So just to talk about some of the things that are available, if you want to dig deep right now into what the compact looks like, who's made up of the compact, who the delegates are to our compact. Again, as I said, we're an independent governing organization, so we have our own executive board or board of delegates that make decisions about rules and bylaws, etc. This is where you can find them. If you want to read what governs the compact, there's the compact legislation that each state has to pass. The model legislation is available online, so you can see exactly how the compact's set up. Our bylaws and rules, which again govern us, talk more about how we interpret the legislation and how we're going to actually implement that legislation, is all available in the rules and bylaws. And in the near future, we'll also have additional policies and procedures. We'll talk more specifically about how things will happen if, for instance, something compact privilege is terminated. And then news, again, if we have any updates there about our news, if we've got a new state that's going to come available, we'll put that in our news section. And then meetings, I just put this up here so you can see all of our meetings are open to the public. I will tell you that you're more than welcome, but they are very procedural, very much talking about, should we change a word here in the rules, or should we, talk about what we should be doing in the next meeting. So again, there's always an opportunity for public comment in those meetings, but you can see their agendas here. And if you aren't able to attend any of those meetings, you can always go back and look at our minutes. But that's all been available to the public. That might be helpful if you're interested to learn more about the workings of the compact. And then our member state map. This is a big one. This is where we get the most traffic. As I said, this is what will be updated basically the same day if there are any changes to this map. It is dynamic on the website, so you'll be able to scroll over those states to see if they've introduced legislation and what that legislation number is. For instance, for Pennsylvania, that's a good example. They've got legislation that's still introduced, but just hasn't been passed yet. We expect more of these states to start turning that teal color once we get to 2019 and they start opening up their sessions again and introducing compact legislation. Excuse me. And as I said, this 4 dark blues indicate that they are actively issuing and accepting compact privileges. The light blue mean that they're part of the compact, but they're still working on those rules. And any state that's in gray just means there's no activity going on with them right now. That doesn't mean that nothing's going to happen there, just that there's nothing that's actively occurring right now. And then this is a big one, resources and tools. I invite everybody to please look at this. We've got a frequently asked questions that's about 10 pages long that answers many of the questions that we get regarding the compact and how it operates. Basic things from what's eligibility requirements all the way to is there some specific something specific related to PTs or PTAs. And what the continuing education requirements might be for PTs or PTAs. And then some of the other things are self-explanatory here, but I will point out, there's the ability to go in and see what the eligibility requirements are separately. You can learn more about the home state. We do provide some sort of practice resources available here. But this is where you can really find a lot of that information that you might be asking about. And then at the end of the frequently asked questions, there's also scenarios. So if you're looking to actually look, Joe buys a compact privilege in Mississippi and he lives in Tennessee. What does that mean in terms of what he can do and work in Mississippi? That kind of scenario is involved, is kind of provided at the end of those frequently asked questions. So I invite you to look at those. But one of those things that we do have on the site is the chart for compact privilege fees, jurisprudence, and waiver chart. This is just for the states that are going to active, so the 5 states right now, and as we get more states, we will update this chart. But you can see here's an example of what the compact privileges fees are for the state, what they're charging, what the commission charges, $45 for each compact privilege fee, and then the total for that compact privilege. And then if they have a jurisprudence requirement or not. For instance, Mississippi has one, and then it links you straight to their Mississippi website to actually take their jurisprudence exam. So you'll need to have that complete before you can get a compact privilege. And I'll show you when we walk through that step why that's very important to note that you'll need to complete that jurisprudence before you go into the process. Just because if you don't, there's could be some severe penalties. And then if they don't require a jurisprudence exam before, for example, Missouri has within 30 days after it's issued, then that jurisdiction, as it says here, will actually contact you as an individual compact privilege holder and give you the information in order to complete that jurisprudence exam within 30 days and notify us if you don't do that, obviously. And then one last thing on the website, which again gets a lot of questions, which is how do I verify that I have a compact privilege, and how do my employers or potential staffing agencies verify that I have compact privilege? And so it's important to note that the compact does not issue any paper documents. We don't issue a certificate. We don't issue wallet cards. We instead are relying on this as the website as a compact verification for a bunch of reasons, but really the main one is this is connected to our database. It is updated basically within minutes. So if somebody purchases a compact privilege, gets it issued to them, they'll be basically instantly able to come and verify it here on the website. If we had to go through a paper process, it could take weeks to even get that piece of paper out to you. Now that's not to say there isn't any kind of paper that you'll get, and I'll show you that in the system. But the standard traditional certificate or wallet card is not going to be provided, and this is where you'll come. You go to ptcompact.org/verification, or there's a link at the bottom on the footer of our website that you'd be able to connect to this page and search by last name and state, and that will pull up the person's name, their compact privilege number information, their expiration date, so they can see that it's valid. And again, if there's any concerns about that, they can always contact the commission directly, but this is the fastest, easiest way for somebody to get a verification that they do have a compact privilege to work in that state. And all states that are part of the compact that are actively issuing privileges will have a link to this verification website on their license verification website. So if someone goes to the state's license verification, that information probably won't be in there that they have a compact privilege. Instead, they'll have to click on the link to go to this verification page, because each state's just not going to, again, have the time to an ability to update it instantly that they've got a compact privilege now. And so this is the fastest, again, most accurate way to provide that verification. So that is the overview of the website. Now I'm going to do a walkthrough of the interface. And so this is what you'll do when you go to get a compact privilege. Again, when your home state is active and ready to issue compact privileges, this is what you'll do in order to get a compact privilege. First, let me just mention that there are a couple key aspects of a compact privilege. While we loosely term it as a license, it really is a privilege to practice. The reason being is that you have different eligibility requirements, which is what makes it easier to get a compact privilege. In some cases, if you're eligible, than it is to get a regular license like you do today. And so, you know, that it provides an alternative way to obtain the compact privilege, but still has the same rights as you would and responsibilities that comes with a regular license. You can't use a compact privilege or practice in your home state, so you'll still have to be licensed in your home state. In fact, one of the key requirements is that you have a license in your home state in order to be eligible to get compact privilege. You can't work on a compact privilege, you know, say, oh, I live in Missouri and I just want to get a compact privilege instead of getting a license every year. You still have to get a license. You can't operate or practice or work in your home state on a compact privilege. Again, it's not a multi-state license. It's only available once your state is actively issuing and accepting compact privileges. It is faster, cheaper, and easier, so there's a lot of advantages to get a compact privilege versus going through the standard way of getting an endorsement or getting a regular license in a remote state. There are no special CE requirements, so you don't have to maintain different requirements. If you've got a compact privilege in multiple states, you don't have to continue to maintain those CE requirements in those states because it's, again, not like a license in that way. You'll have to continue to maintain your home state license. You'll need to maintain those CE credits and make sure you have that home state license that's up to date and valid, but you don't need to continue to do it like you do today, where you have to do it for a license everywhere you have. Compact privileges in different states are different, and so you get to just go ahead and not have to continue to use CE credits in those states where you just hold a compact privilege. And then again, fees and jurisprudence requirements will vary by state. That's your responsibility to know what that is, checking that waiver chart, making sure you're completing those. And then any disciplinary or encumbrances that you get while you have a compact privilege will terminate all compact privileges immediately. This is a benefit for those who are eligible. It is not a right that everybody gets to have. Again, it's something special if you're qualified. And then if you already have disciplinary encumbrances on your licenses, you won't qualify to begin with. So that said, again, the compact privilege eligibility requirements in general are that you have a primary residence, that your home state is the compact member state that's actively issuing privileges, that you have a license, a regular standard license in that state. You don't have any encumbrances on any type of license. You have no disciplinary action within the last 2 years on any of those licenses. And then, of course, you've met the jurisprudence requirement for that remote state. And I just note here in red that, as I said, it comes with all the same rights and responsibilities. And so it's still your responsibility to know what the scope of practice is of the patient, where the patient is and client lives. And so that, you can't assume that now I'm a compact privilege, I'm just going to operate underneath the rules of my state. You have to follow the rules and laws of the state and the scope of practice of the state where you are going to actually be, where your patient is, and so where you're technically practicing. That is the requirement by the compact. And again, so as you would do today, if you had a license in that state, you need to make sure that you're doing that if you have a compact privilege in that state. So to purchase a compact privilege, you'll simply go to ptcompact.org. You click Purchase Now. It'll take you to a login page. You'll enter your FSBBT ID and password. Many have already received it when they took the NPTE exam. If you don't have it or forgot it, you can simply click on the Forgot Password or Forgot Your FSBBT ID right there on the page, and that will take you to a page where you can put in some basic information and get that information sent to you or reset your password. Once you're logged in, it will pull from our database. And so we'll have some of your information on file already. It'll have the basic information completed here. You'll have your own dashboard. So if you come to this page, as you can see, there's really no compact privileges associated with your record right now. We get the basics about a home state license, which would be Missouri in this case. It shows the expiration date and what license we have on file for you. You can click Purchase, and it'll take you to a profile page, your information page. Much of this will already have been filled out, again, based on what information we have on file for you. If it's one of the required fields that's not filled out, you'll have to fill that out before you can continue. For example, you'll have to provide at least one email address and a phone number. And then at the bottom, this is the part where this is what we need in order to verify your home state address. We are going to be using your license, your state driver's license, or a state ID in order to verify that that matches to your home state address that you're providing here. If those don't match, it will automatically be kicked out of the system. You won't be able to get a compact privilege. However, if those do match, and it's got to be a valid driver's license information or state ID, then you'll be allowed to proceed. I'll also note here that there is a military status. You'll have to select one. Again, for most people, it'll be no active duty military status. There is an opportunity to select active duty, spouse of an active duty military member, or veteran. If you select active duty military or a spouse of one, it will give you more flexibility in order to select your home state. The compact was created in order to make it easier for military members and their spouses to practice in other states, recognizing that they move around quite often, maybe every 18 months or so. And so this is an ability for them to actually select something different as a home state, either their current duty station or the home of record for the military. But if you do select one of those, you will have to send in, and it will automatically pop up a box and tell you need to send in proof of military status, which is typically an active military ID. And if you don't do that, then again, your compact privileges could be terminated again. So for most, they'll just enter your driver's license information. Again, it'll verify whether or not your state for your address is the same as your issuing state for your ID, driver's license ID, and that it's a valid date. You'll click continue, and then it'll take you to this select privileges page. Again, if for any reason it shows that you do not qualify, aren't eligible for either those home states not matching, or say your home state is good, but it's just not actively issuing compact privileges yet, then it will kick you out and say, sorry, your state isn't part of the compact, you can't do that yet. The reason you're getting that is, again, they're not actively issuing, they're not ready yet. I will only let you continue if it shows that you meet the eligibility requirements that I listed up front. If you get to this page, and once you get to that page, once states are all ready and you have a home state that's actually part of the compact and issuing compact privileges, then you'll be able to come here. You'll note that it shows you at the top the license information that we have on file for your home state license, and that number and the expiration date. It also give you the list of states that are actually issuing compact privileges at the moment. For this example, we just used Missouri, North Dakota, and Tennessee. It will provide you the opportunity to get a compact privilege in your home state, but it also notes here that you have a license there. And so getting a compact privilege in that state would be redundant. No need to have a compact privilege and a license, obviously, in the same state. It is, though the system is set to show it to you. But if you want to get a compact privilege, you really are looking to see what remote states you want to get a compact privilege in. What you'll do is then select the compact privileges by clicking the green plus, and for the ones that you want to get a privilege in. So in this example, we're going to select North Dakota and Tennessee, and then that'll automatically pop up some information down at the bottom. Here you can see it shows the ones you selected, North Dakota and Tennessee. It shows you the expiration date of the compact privileges. Note that the compact privilege expiration date is the same as the expiration date of the home state license. This is always the case. So whether or not you have 2 years left on your license or you have 3 months left on your license, they will always show that this new compact privileges now are connected with your expiration date of your home state license. We'll explain how to renew compact privileges at the very end. But essentially, this will give you the information you need to know for each compact privilege. Jurisdiction fee in this case for North Dakota is $0, $25 for Tennessee. Commission fee will always charge $45 each for each compact privilege you get, and then it gives you your subtotal. Now, here's the important thing to note: is here it says I attest that I have completed the required jurisprudence exam for North Dakota, and here says I attest that I will complete the required jurisprudence exam within 30 days for Tennessee. You have to click these and attest that, click these boxes and attest that these are true in order to continue. That's why, going back to the jurisprudence waiver chart that I showed you before, the jurisprudence exam in the cases of the states that says I have completed, you must have completed that already in order to click that and be truthfully attest to it. If you don't, that state is going to get once you complete this, the state will get a email saying that you have now got compact privileges, and they are going to compare that against the list of people that they have completed their jurisprudence exam in that state. And if you are not on that list, they will notify the compact. We will probably contact you and find out what happened, but the answer is your compact privileges will be terminated. All compact privileges can be terminated because you lied and you did not complete the jurisprudence exam as you said you attested to. And in this case, again, that Tennessee will contact you within 30 days or within that time period and ask you to complete the jurisprudence exam within 30 days. So you'll need to, again, test here that you will complete it. And if you don't complete it within 30 days, the state of Tennessee, in this case, will contact us, let the commission know, and we will terminate your compact privileges. So it's essential that you do not just click through, but that you read these and that you have completed them. After you click continue, it'll take you to the attestations page. Again, here it will say that you're the basic attestation that you have provided all information that's accurate. It will also say that you recognize you need to abide by the rules and laws of the states that you're going to be practicing in. And again, it will ask you to attest that you completed the jurisprudence requirement ahead of time in the cases of those states, and that you will complete it within 30 days in cases of the states that require afterwards. You must click all of these boxes in order to continue, and this is your attestation. If you click them by accident, it will not matter. It is a matter of you reading through these and making sure that you are attesting truthfully. If you do this and you fail to actually complete these requirements, then you will risk losing your compact privileges, having them all be terminated, and then your home state will be notified. You could get disciplinary action taken on your home state license for making false claims. Once you click continue on there, it'll go to the standard process for payment. You'll put in your credit card information here. It'll give you some information again about your subtotals for the cost to get a compact privileges in each of those states. You'll need to verify all the information here on the next page. You'll have to accept this again, that this is the privacy statement. Once you click that, you can click purchase, and you're done. Boom, it's over. You get your compact privileges. Here you can see that you got compact privilege for North Dakota and Tennessee. Here's unique compact privilege numbers associated with each one of those. Again, it notes that your compact privileges are linked to your home state license, which will expire at the date above. It provides some more information about how to find resources on scope of practice for the states that you now have compact privileges to work in. We may ask you to provide a copy of your proof of residence. So you provided your information online. Here's your driver's license information. Now we may reserve the right to follow up and actually ask for that copy of that driver's license or state ID as proof of verification that this is truly your home state. And again, if that's found to be false, then you could face penalties and disciplinary action. And then this is some information that they provide about moving. Again, if you move into a state that isn't part of the compact, you would lose all compact privileges. And again, when I say move, I mean that you're going to move your home state permanently. If you're making temporary assignment, obviously your home state and permanent address has not really changed. But if you actually move permanently to a different state and change your home state and have a different driver's license, you are required to notify the compact commission, and that may affect your compact privileges. Jurisprudence requirement, again, some information about that and make sure that you meet it. And then your basic receipt information that you can use for your records. Now, all of this will be emailed to you and to the address that you provided during the profile completion stage. It will also you'll be able to print this receipt out right here. And this would be the paper information that you could use, or the email that you get that you can print out if there's some need to provide some paper identification that you've gotten these compact privileges. But as I said, the best way to do that is to go to our verification website. That's going to be the real time and much more accurate. So once you're done and you've gotten printed any receipt you're interested in, you can click done. It'll take you back to your dashboard. Now you can see there's 2 compact privileges associated with this license, this PT. You've got 2 PT compact privileges. There is one for North Dakota and the unique number and the expiration date, one for Tennessee. You can also see your transaction history. Now, the purchase button's still here because if once more states are added, or say you got one for 2 states, but got a compact privilege in 2 states, but now you want to get it to the 3rd state because now you're interested in actually working there for a travel job, you can come back in here and do the exact same process, click purchase, and go purchase a compact privilege for that new state. Or as more states are joining on and becoming ready, say again, Texas becomes available, they start issuing compact privileges, you can come back in here the day that they say they go live, and then you can come in here and purchase compact privileges for that state. So it's something that's ongoing and active, and again, that new compact privilege will have the same expiration date as your home state license. And one of the last thing I'll say is that you can renew your compact privileges when you're within 60 days of your expiration date of your home state license, and therefore your compact privileges. You'll be sent an automatic email that will notify you that the compact privileges are set to expire. It will recommend that you go back to your home state and you actually renew your home state license, and then give it a couple of days, because we'll have to get that updated information that you've renewed that home state license, and then come back into the system. Once you come back in, it'll show renewal as an option here. A new button will show up, it'll say renewal. You'll be able to click on the renew button. It'll be able to then say, yes, you can renew these compact privileges by repaying the fee, and those compact privileges will then be associated with the updated home state license expiration date. And so you can continue to do that as you go on, but again, you'll have to renew that home state license before you can go and renew those compact privileges. And that's the case for all of the compact privileges. So that is essentially the system. I will turn it back over to Bree so she can see if there's any questions or answers questions I can provide answers to. And then I'll show my screen here. If you've got other specific questions that you want to ask me or think of later, you can always contact me at the information on the screen.
Okay, TJ, it does not look like there are any questions, really just one. Are the requirements the same for foreign trained therapists?
It's a good question. Yes. So the answer is that if you qualify for the compact privilege, you meet all of the requirements that I listed at the beginning of the walkthrough, you qualify to get a compact privilege. That means you have to have the home state license. You can't have any disciplinary or encumbrances. You need to be able to have a home. Your home state has to be issuing compact privileges as part of the compact. But if you meet those requirements, you'll meet the system's requirements, and you'll be able to go to get a compact privilege. There's no other special additional requirements for someone that's foreign trained applicant.
Awesome, thank you, TJ. It looks like that's going to be all of the questions. We had a couple others, but it looks like you kind of answered those throughout the whole thing. So we really appreciate you getting on. If you want to go ahead and unshare your screen, and we are going to shoot this over to you in an email as well later. Okay, I think I unshared it, so I think we're all good. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. Thanks, TJ. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us on Facebook. We really appreciate it. Again, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and email us at rehab@triagestaff.com, or you can reach out to TJ. He just posted that information. And for all the information you can possibly have, go to ptcompact.org. And if you are interested in travel, obviously, give us a call here, Triage. Our phone number is 800-259-9897, and we would love to take care of you guys. Hope you guys have a good day. Make sure if you guys watch this later that you put rewatch in your comments so that we can kind of see who's coming on. If you guys have any questions, reach out. Bye, guys.